If you're somebody who makes music, but it always seems to go in a slightly different direction than what you intended, this is the video for you, because I've got two loops in front of me here. One of them is a more stripped back minimal vibe, and the other one is more of a driving track. So let me just give you a play through them. This is the first one, a little bit busy right now, but you get the vibe. This one, a bit more driving. Now, they're both still definitely house music. They both have a similar vibe because it's me that's made it. The producer's the same. However, you can clearly hear that one has a lot more energy than the other. Let's talk about why that is and how I can stop you from going down a too melodic vibe if that's what seems to happen to you, or how to create more energy in the track if you want it to stay more driving. So in loop one, let's start with the drums. Let's have a listen to them. And then let's compare that to loop two and see if you can notice any differences. So let me explain. With loop one, what we have is more of a concentration and more focus on the top end. So the groove comes from that open hat in the top end, really. If I show you that, let me solo these hats. We've got a groove going on in them hats, and when I'm making something that's a bit more stripped back, it's something that I concentrate on, making sure that the groove is coming from the hats and not focusing too heavily on the more snares and percussions. Now, they are still important, don't get me wrong. However, I just feel like when I focus more on the kind of percussive elements bringing in the groove, like in loop two, like this, you can hear that open hat stays on a 4/4 rhythm, and it gives me that driving feeling, leaving me space with no groove in that top end to create the groove using like a real nice garagey style snare, okay? So that's where I start. If I'm gonna come into the studio and I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna make something a bit more laid back, a bit more like warm-up vibes, then I will start with a nice groove in my top end, like I showed you, like this. Okay, playing that with the kick, so you get a... Now, of course, the kick is very, very important too. So if I play the difference in kicks, you can hear that is very, very thumpy, very low end heavy. This one is slightly less. A similar kick, don't get me wrong. However, I've not got as much low end in the kick in the more driving one, because I know for a driving song I'm going to want a driving bass line, and if I want a driving bass line, I don't have enough room for a heavy kick and a heavy bass line in the same song. So I'll maybe choose a kick that's a little bit less in your face, a less low end heavy, if I'm going to be making something that is more driving. Okay, so the next thing, this is where the magic really happens. Now, I've actually made a video on this before. It's about synths, and this is where the magic happens. Now, if I play driving song and I just play the kick and the bass line, or the kick, bass line and drums, you can hear I've created that vibe that I was looking for, and this is what a lot of people can do, but they start tripping up when they start adding their melodic elements. So how do I combat that? Well, if we notice with these synths, when I turn them on, that I've already created a really driving melody from that bass line. I definitely don't want to start competing with that, because that is going to take us in a different direction and it will make the song more melodic. Instead, I want to nurture that melody I've already created and make my synths follow that melody, because I've done the hard work already. There's a video on my channel on this. I think it's called How to Make Your Synths Easy or something like that. I will try and link it somewhere on this video. So here's the synth, and you'll hear they follow the bass line pretty much example with a bit of variation. Now, if I do the same in the first track, I solo the kick and the drums and the bass line. Where are you? I think it's just a sub bass line from Operator. Super laid back and simple, right? Now, that bass line isn't good enough. The melody isn't good enough to support it with synths. It's pretty crap. So you'll notice with the synths that I've then added afterwards, they are all kind of playing their own melodies. They're not really going with the synth per se. They're not really going with the bass line. If I play that with the bass line, and that is the main difference between keeping something driving and making something that is a bit more laid back. If I play that with the kick now as well, and the drums, you'll hear Now if I do the same with the other track, the kick, the bass line, and then I turn the synths on, you clearly hear that the synths support that driving melody coming from my bass line. So if you're ever struggling with taking your songs in a direction that you didn't initially set out to do, one, it might not be much of a problem because just go with it sometimes. If it goes in a slightly different direction, that's the song telling you it wants to go there. However, if you're doing this every single time and you can't make the genre that you're looking for, try this technique with following your bass line or variating away from your bass line depending on which direction you want to go on. Driving bass lines, I want to support that driving bass line with a melody that goes along a very similar melody to it, but with a more stripped back and laid back song, something a bit more minimal, then I will probably use my melodies to give contrast to that bass line rather than following it. So let me know if that helps you in the comments. And also if you would like to make 2025 the year that you succeed in music, click the top link in my description and apply for my mentorship program so I can help you really evolve this year. Thanks for watching.